the future of mentorship for the true leaders, like the people who really want to go with the technology, the people who want to be upgraded all the time. So that kind of era what we're going through now, the person who is not good at technology and is not going with the technology and is not willing to have a transformational leadership quality, so those are the people they are behind. They're struggling a lot. People who have made their mind that I am done with this technology, I don't want AI, I don't want to improve myself. If that is the way, people they decide, they are done with their career. Any moment, they might lose their job. But let me tell you, people been thinking every time, after AI lots of jobs are gonna go. But that is true, but actually, to be frank, it's a red flag on everybody's head, saying that it's a time for you to go to the next level. Now artificial intelligence is taking everybody's job. That is true, that's okay. But now what is the signal I'm getting? It's a signal for me to get into the different level now. This is not the way I'm supposed to work. When artificial intelligence is in the market, it's in all the organizational fields. Now I am in a downgraded version. Now I need to get upgraded. So once you get upgraded, you match with the era, you match with the the technology. So this is how you upgrade yourself and then move further. So where the technology is nothing for you, where you, because once you show up yourself like a weaker to the technology, that is when you lose your job. When you are upgraded and you have been learning, you have been going with the flow with the technology, then nobody can touch you, right? So that is what it is. So nobody can eat up your job. You create opportunities more. You need something. So people need people who are experts in AI, people who are experts in technology, or people who are experts in the artificial intelligence, or people who are very smart. Even though if you're not a artificial intelligence expert, doesn't matter. If you're a smart, if you're a resourceful person, you still have a demand. If you stand with 10 people, okay, and human resources sees you, or a managerial position sees you, they see you while taking your interview, are you a resourceful person for me or not? Are you asset person or not? So that is what the people they see. Now you should understand where you stand in front of these 10 people, right? So that is what I'm talking about. So we might be any age group. You might be 20s, 30s, or 50s, or 70s. Doesn't matter at all. What you been with this era, the flow, what you're going, that is important. And that is why I've been talking about the mentor definition completely, which has been changed for this 2026, which is the latest one, and future of mentorship for leaders. That is very important, which we are going to talk about. If you see, the business environment is evolving quickly, right? And the mentorship can help you adopt. But as new technologies emerge, the organizational needs are been changing completely. The definition of mentoring is also changing. That is why I've been saying that. Now I'm going to talk about the mentorship can help your company develop the human-centered leaders, boost job satisfaction, and upskill employees, and AI-aligned workplaces. So this is very important and we can't ignore this. Mentor definition for this 2026, and development partners, networking, these all things are really, really, really essential. Mentoring offers unique tools to combat issues facing organizations in 2026. In 2026, these days, the organization, the big companies, the big multi-level companies, all these people, they are facing a different kind of issues now. You go and ask Dell, you go and ask IBM, you go and ask Infosys, or all these big corporate companies, they are facing completely a different kind of issues. They want their employees to be highly skilled, because the tools what they've been using, it's completely new, and they are very smart. They want their employees to be smart, and they're making their employees to be smart, including the management burnout. Do you understand? There are a lot of managers who are highly skilled with a kind of human connection. That's it. When it comes to artificial intelligence, when it comes to technology, they are very weak. They are depending on the employees. But thinking process, they're very strong. Analytical skills, or maybe strategy making, or the way they do people management, everything is great. But now all this job is being done by AI. And what is the use of these people? They have been checked out of the job. Now this is what I'm talking about. When it comes to a kind of era what we're going through, the mentor definition of 2026. Now these people, they have to change. They have to completely come out of filling this gap. So these closing AI skills are the gaps. The new definition of mentorship, what changed? Let us talk about this. It's gonna be very interesting. I've been I've been as a strategist, been visualizing about this 2026 era of how this mentor definition is gonna be. When I visualized, and when I did research on this, when I spoke with more than 100 mentors, I got different answers. I've also been seeing what the institutions have been talking about it, and what the researchers are talking about it. And this visualization what I made, it has become true. And I think this new kind of session, the new fresh session which has never been spoke, I'm gonna take a privilege of talking about it. So let us understand the new definition of mentorship, and let us understand the future of mentorship for the new true leaders. So this is what we're going to talk with such robust applications, what we've been seeing. Today's version of mentorship is no longer restricted to the classic wise senior. Correct. Now skills development and knowledge sharing aren't just one way street. It is not that way. That now it is completely changed with tenured employees teaching those who are less experienced. That is been gone. Now the tenured employees been looking the backward people. The new employees who are being hired, they are more upgraded people than these tenured employees. And that is how all the institutions and all the corporate companies, or maybe any organizations have been seeing. They've been experiencing this, and this is how it has been looking. So instead, companies can leverage mentorship for a variety of purposes depending on their goals and requirements. The companies might create mentorship programs specifically to tackle skill gaps. That is why the mentorship always has been conducted. The mentorship programs has been conducted for that purpose, right? To build the leadership pipeline. So when I say the sales pipeline, in the same way, the leadership pipeline has the too many pipelines, which has been interlinked. Or to improve the management engagement. So that is again important. Most of the places, management engagement, which is not taking place, which is not happening. And this engagement in management is very important, and that can be done through the very good mentorship programs. Now, mentorships as working alliance, not a personality trait, and that is what we need to see it. I have asked more than 100 different experts define mentorship. Every 100 people they gave a different answers. They have a different perspectives about it. But the national academies of science, engineering, and medicines, whom I have my classmates who are very experts in that, and where they've been working for more than a decade. Okay, I've been talking to them to tell me the solid definition of mentoring for this 2026, the latest one. If you say something, tell me something made latest, something tell me new. The mentoring shape is a professional working alliance in which individuals work together over time to support the personal and professional growth, department, and success of a relation partners through the provision of career and physio-social support. And that is what people been concentrating these days. People been talking about this these days. Whether the goal is skill development, motivation and retention, or a performance and innovation, mentoring relationships provide a framework for day-to-day behaviors that lead a connection, and lasting change. And that is what is very important. And mentors hone a coaching and problem solving skills. You need to understand this. If there's anything fresh new problem, okay, how the mentor will look like, how the mentor is seeing to things like, that is very important. He has to hone the coaching, he has to understand where to start the coaching with and how to end the coaching with, and what are the things needs to be conducted in between the coaching. And that is when he sees the problem solving skills, he's going to see the problem where exactly it is. So mentor as a connector, single booster, and sense maker. So this is how the mentor should always look like in this 2026. Completely, the mentor thought process should change. Sense making has to change, right? So mentors make the invisible visualization things to be make it visible. The things which you can't visualize, and you've been visualizing but you don't visualize the invisible things, and the mentor is going to make you to reach, to learn how to get this visible, the visualization, to make it visible, clear picture. And that is how the mentorship should be done. From norms and politics to decision paths, or it could be the stakeholder maps, all this stuff, when it comes, the visualization has to be very strong. When you do that visualization, that kind of visualization, when you do, you will be able to find out all kind of issues and all kind of problems, how it has been existing. And when you've been conducting any kind of programs, any kind of mentorship programs, whatever the organizational issues you've been trying to fix, you will understand what kind of problems might arise in between and how to tackle that. And that kind of quality visualization, it happens only with the mentorship programs, leadership programs. They translate the strategy into concrete skill priorities, providing the clarity on what to learn and how to learn, and what is very important next, and how to put it into action. And that action is going to be very, very, very powerful, and as an effective action. How to do it, how to put it. Different roles have various responsibilities. Do you understand that? The mentorship program happens in that way. For an example, mentors help build skills and develop direction, while the sponsors act to ensure that proteges have access to the opportunities. Do you agree or not? And that is how things goes on. You can't have a mentor to do all the approvals or all the facilities to be met. It is not possible. The mentor's work is to make sure things are met, and the mentors is been implementing the coaching in such a way where the person can understand how to tackle things, how to tame things, how to tame the problems, how to look into things, and how to manage things, and how to fix the problems. Is going to completely teach them. The mentors is going to create mentors. If the mentor couldn't create some 10 mentors in the organization, then the mentor is not done anything. The mentor's job is to teach how to do it. Now the sponsors, how the sponsors is going to act? When there is any opportunities, and he's going to build that access to get into that place. He's going to create a table and opportunity for you to sit and work on together. And that sponsor has a huge responsibility. And sponsors will make up his mind only by the mentor's kind of quality what he's been working on. If that has been shown, and then the sponsors can see it clearly, this is an opportunity for me, and this opportunity has to be given to the right people, and then you get the sponsors. So that important, mentor as a concrete signal, that is why I've been saying signal boosters, sense makers. And this 2026 is completely the mentoring roles have been completely changed. If you're a mentor, if you're a trainer, if you're a coach, you need to change completely now. And that is how it goes. That is how it's gonna be very important. So Mentoring roles in 2026, the mentor, coach, sponsor, advisor, peers, all have a roles to play in mentorship programs. Now we've been thinking mentorship program, okay, leadership program. There is only mentor and mentee. That's it. No, 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 anything else. But yes, there are a lot of things which comes to the place. I've been saying the difference between the mentor and the consultant. There is also where we can also talk about the mentor and the sponsors, which is very important. Now the era is completely changed. Now, mentor, if you ask to do the mentorship program and leadership program, the sponsor's role is going to be play a lot. The advisors, the peers, sponsors, and all this stuff. This primary, this is a very primary, people. The roles play a different major roles here. The primary difference between the mentor and the sponsor is that mentor is going to provide, and he provides the advice, while the sponsor provides the advocacy. We need a power. We might need a fund, financial power. Sometimes we might need the people who is having a lot of great contacts, connections. That power is very important. According to the lots of institutions, okay, the institution, the researchers, and all these people, whether an employee needs a mentor or a sponsor, it depends on their professional and organization goals. This is what they've been saying. You can't just have any kind of mentor. You can't just have any kind of sponsors, where they can just go and do it. No, sometimes sponsors also need a skill. They need a skill development. So the researchers and the institutions, they also say we need to understand what kind of sponsors you need, what kind of mentors you need, based on your professional and organizational goals. So this is how it is completely changing. Mentors are appropriate when the employees need guidance. You understanding what I'm saying, right? From someone who been in the room, the sponsors help their sponsors get the seat to the table. They create an opportunity, and how to gain that opportunity, you need to understand how you've been showing up with the kind of quality program what you are conducting, the mentorship program, the leadership program, and that should make the sponsor to take a decisions to help the sponsors get the seat at the table front, and at the front, with all the opportunities. The same employee may need a mentoring or a sponsoring at a different stages of their career, right? You agree? Because that is the resources what you have. Be prepared to embed the practical handoff movements, in your program, when mentors can transition the mentees to sponsors or evolve into the sponsors themselves. When the coaching and the mentoring both have their place in professional development, but how do you know which approach is right for your needs? You have to question yourself. Look to the time, time horizon. Coaching focuses on the short term and measurable behavior changes, while mentoring addresses the broader arc and longer term of development and the support. One advisor can fulfill both roles, addressing short-term skills development as a coach and long-term professional development as a mentor. In these cases, it's especially important to set measurable goals and track the progress against them to keep clarity. Coaching skills are also a key part of the manager's professional developments and all this stuff. According to a lot of institutions, the researchers, the trainers, the training managers, in coaching boost their performance by 20 to 28% further, and 70% of them engagement, the team engagement is attributed to the manager. The development of networking lens for leaders to evolve. Leadership development requires robust support beyond what the single mentor can provide. Organization may choose a holistic approach by creating a development network for leadership training. Different mentors provide a various strengths in the technical, cultural and personal realms. This approach also provides a single point of failure. We need to understand that no need to worry about what happens when one mentor exits. That's very important. AI and mentorship, augmentation, not an autopilot. This we need to understand. AI potential for rapidly scaling mentorship programs. Yes, you can't rely on something completely human connection, but human connection is that important, where without human connection you will not get into any kind of survival mode into the industry. You have to understand that also. Both are same, both are important, both are a scale, weighing scale. It has to be together. AI is important, but the AI without human connection is that important. People been saying like that, but human connection is very important. When you look into the AI also, human connection has to be treated. Sometimes that plays a major role. So we have to take it together. You can't just check out everybody saying that you're being fired because you're not up to the mark for my technology. But yes, he might be a very resourceful person when it comes to human connection. Your customer needs a human connection. Sometimes it's very important. That emotional intelligence is very important to play role in every places. These mentorship programs lies on speeding administration, creating more personalized experiences at scaling up, and providing the types of quick answers better suited for short-term coaching versus mentoring. Not in replacing human mentors, but AI is that important in mentorship program, where AI can help mentoring programs scale quickly, and the responses are very important. When you need answers for the questions, AI gonna be helping you, and the mentors knows when to ask what and how to take things. And when they see the mentees capabilities, even mentors capabilities should increase. It's a win-win now. Sometimes the mentors should act like a mentee, he is learning from the mentees, and I do that more. I learn from everybody. So this is very important. AI enabled mentoring software can automate matching with your leadership programs, guide conversations, and the goal settings. You need to go through that, and offer insights which is gonna match the mentees to take them to the next level, such as programs health signals, health signal drops, their participation gaps, the skill development gaps. These capabilities, see, I always spoke about capabilities many times in my previous session. Capabilities is not a small word, it's a very powerful word. When you say the capabilities, it's something you have a lot of weapons with you, but you don't know how to use it, and you don't know what is the functionality of it. So these capabilities is going to make you realize, enhance your quality of learnings. These capabilities leave people free to do what people do the best. From genuine human connections, and the share their lived experience. Every experience what the mentees have, the mentors have, all the employees have, this is gonna give a different kind of output. And that experience is the what, which is making them to show the skill, of handling things differently. See, responsible AI guardrails for mentoring decisions is very important. Setting effective AI guardrails means empowering the human in the loop to override, the model where necessary. Program administrators, should be aware of the potential for base, the fairness risk is in matching and high potential signals. This we need to understand how things been going. Additionally, participants must know what's confidential, measurable, and reportable in order to be able to trust the program and their team, especially when AI is involved, and learning from relevant program data. These all things are very important to be keeping in mind. Mentoring in this world of AI capilots, AI can function as a promoting guide and critical thinking partner, and that is how we have to see the AI functions, but never as a full replacement for human beings. Please understand. You might be thinking Raghavendra speaks both human connections and artificial intelligence. This is so important, boss. This has to go together. Mentorship programs can also provide a key learning ground for essential skills for every function in an AI enabled environment. For instance, nearly every role will need to understand how to separate AI assistant output from the real capability, which will become harder as LLM technology it continues to evolve. Mentoring models leaders are using now, they are being completely using it. Now mentoring is flexible. Adopt your model to your specific needs. You don't need to go the advanced level of AI technology and implementation and all this stuff. Not required. It is not required at all. Starting with the program structure, you see what is important to adopt first. Go step by step. Let your employees go step by step to this technology involving into AI. And what is micro mentoring? So this is what we're going to learn completely, the future of mentorship for the true leaders who really want to become a true leader. So for them, these all things are very important. I've been talking about different varieties of mentorship. What is micro mentoring? So not every mentoring programs needs to be long-term project. No, not required. Right? You understand that there are small organizations which has a small projects, small departments and teams. So here we need mentoring program needs to be long term. It doesn't need to be a long term projects. Micro mentorship, that is when it takes place, also known as a flash mentoring. We call it as a flash mentoring also for this micro mentoring. It offers a focused instruction and support for short term goals. There are a lot of time when the short term goal itself is not able to be able to met because of the small challenges. And sometimes that small challenges together for longer run, it looks a very big problem. And that is why the micro mentoring takes place. It is gonna sort out the session can be as short as 15 minutes. By the time you finish one scoop of ice cream, the 15 minutes mentorship program is done, over. And the entire scope of this program can be hours, days or weeks instead of years. Not required, right? It can be finished in hours, days and weeks. Done. So we really need to give that support for small departments where they're going through the challenges, or maybe they're outdatedly thinking and they're progressing the work, and that has to be done through the micro mentorship. That is very important. Best fit movement for flash mentoring includes project pivots, role transitions and skill spikes to design the micro mentoring that makes the desired impact. You will feel wow when you're doing all this stuff. Focus on the participants, the participants who are there, focus on them. They focus on their needs and the preferences, especially when matching the mentor-mentee pace. Also, be sure to set the measurable goals and follow up with participant feedback to ensure that you are hitting your target. Your goal setting is really met. You have to see that. Flash mentoring, needed be a formal, no needed to be a formal, as some other types of programs, as culture, as all the other programs, what has been happening. You don't need to happen in the same way. Consider variety of structures and scheduling patterns, which is very common and very important, including office hours. You need to get this done, and that is the productivity challenge. So, well, in the office challenge, in office hours and the office regular challenges, what's going to happen, what is regularly happening. So that those way, you have to take things, because that gives the real experience, that gives the real experience of handling things. Real questions comes out, real handling takes place. Now let me talk about the reverse mentoring and reciprocal mentoring. So this reverse mentoring and reciprocal mentoring in the AI era is evolving. Reverse mentoring flips the traditional methods of the senior mentor and the junior mentees, tapping the less tenured employee to provide the skills and insight. Similarly, reciprocal mentoring steps outside the typical senior junior model and creates the environment in which both mentoring partners provide the professional and emotional support to teach each other. This is how it has to go. The mentor will not know everything. The mentor will also learn from the mentees. I've been learning from many people in open business networking. I've been learning from every single person. The new person who comes, like a small micro entrepreneurs, I'm learning from them also. So this is how it has to go, and that is called the reverse mentoring. Reverse mentoring. Have you gone through that kind of experience ever? You can't say I'm always a trainer. You can't say I'm always a mentor. Even teacher needs a teacher. The mentor needs a mentor. The trainer needs a trainer. And that is why we go through the train the trainer program. And I have conducted many train the trainer program. And this is reverse mentorship with the mentees, especially with the mentees, is very essential. I'm telling you, there are a lot of secrets involved, which will reveal when you get into the reverse mentoring. I'm telling you, you being as a mentor, you being as a trainer, you being as a coach, get into this reverse mentoring, you will have fun. You will learn a lot enjoying with your mentees. This is something very important which we need to do, which has to be taken place. As AI continues to transform the workplaces completely, it has been changing. Expect to see the popularity of reciprocal mentoring rise quickly. It is rising very quickly, and all the researchers, all the institutions, they are completely involving into this. They're giving high value for this. Nearly half of leaders expect AI skill gaps of 20 to 40% by 2030. I'm telling you, this 20 to 40% is gonna be filled completely for sure. According to the World Economic Forum's, reverse mentoring offers unique opportunities to rapidly upskill workers. Every single department in entire different departments of the organization. It could be any small scale business or any large scale business, doesn't matter. Every single department, they're gonna rapidly grow. People sitting at home, they've been going through a lot of AI trainings, their self trainings and everything they've been doing. When you get all these people together and you talk, you'll understand everybody are very special, very unique. The one person who has a skill that might be very micro method, but the other person might be advanced, but he doesn't know that micro method has a lot of strong. No. So that is why OBN was been always talking about the leadership programs. Mentorship programs, we did not do it. But it is happening, like, where we teach each other, like, learning each other without saying, like, you're a mentor, I'm a mentor. No, we've been doing, because in networking, it's a human nature. I'll tell you, like, in networking, especially in business networking, since it's not a corporate, since there nobody is getting a salary or nothing, in networking, what happens is, like, when anybody says anything, nobody will listen. You can't talk to a other person saying that I will teach you. No, that is how the human nature is. You need to say, like, I want to learn. Every single person should say, like, I need to learn. And especially in business networking, this is how it has to go. You need to change the human nature to think the way what they've been thinking. I need to learn from you. I would love to learn. It could be mentor or a mentee, doesn't matter. But when he's a professional mentor, when he's a professional coach or whatever, like, for him, we need to treat him in that way. Like, when I'm dealing with him, it's bread and butter, and his business is that, and he's mastered in that. So let me pay him and take the consultation. I've been seeing people, like, when he is a person who is teaching, that means, like, I can ask anything and learn. When I'm having a coffee with him, tea with him, or maybe, like, one-on-one. No. You need to treat him with, like, one envelope. Just keep whatever you want to keep and give it to them. Tell them, this is all I can do it for you. Please accept this. It could be more or less. You decide. Sometimes people, they have the fixed prices for them, right? So let us respect that. But in reverse mentoring, I'm telling you, it's a win-win. You need to experience this, and this is how the complete future of the mentorship program is completely changed. It's completely, the future of mentorship is changed. And that is why I'm talking about all this reverse mentoring, reciprocal mentoring, and all this stuff. Right? So reverse mentoring program designers should keep in mind what's required to foster success, including the safety, humility, and clear boundaries for all the participants. Right? So peer and near peer. This is also a mentoring. Peer and near peer mentoring as a default multiplier. Really true it is. This peer and near peer programs scale faster than the senior only programs. Yeah, for several reasons it has been designed in that way. I will tell you, like, easier matching. No need to go far afield, like, to match mentors and mentees. The perfect pairing may be working right next to each other. I have been experiencing this, like, in many organizations where they set up a wrong mentor and wrong mentees together. No, don't do that. It will always, like, be a ego clash. First comes the human nature. You need to think how the human nature is. And you need to think about, like, emotional intelligence. Without making a person to talk, without any verbal activity, you need to understand what is the person thinking about. What is the person is thinking about this mentor-mentee program for this present thing situation. You need to understand. If you find anywhere clashes, immediately that mentor-mentee program doesn't work for them between them. It's better to change it. Sometimes the mentee is very smart, very clever, very, very intelligent than the mentor. You can't keep them together. No. The mentee always look into the capabilities of the mentor. If sometimes, like, a mentee is able to understand the capabilities of the mentor and he understands where he stands, then that mentor is not a suitable person to make them a pair. No. So that is why I'm telling the easier matching is very important. You need to understand, otherwise you're gonna lose everything there. That is gonna spoil things. How things needs to be handled further. It will spoil the entire thing. You need to be very careful in this matter. More plentiful, like, potential mentors. Like, it's a nature of org chart to narrow as it goes up. Peer and near peer programs benefits from greater choices. So you need to understand how it goes well. Right person, right people, right mentees. So this is first thing, like, you need to see whether it's suitable pair. or not. Diversity, diversity of program structure also is very important. Community of practical mentoring can take several forms, including one-to-one, squads, guilds, and cohort, circles. These all are very important. Program developers should keep the couple of guardrails, in mind when structuring this program, in order to avoid groupthink. You have seen groupthink. It happens in many communities, group thinking, rumors and all this stuff, including the matching to prevent echo chambers, and promotes that prompts that provide safety for diversity of thoughts and the experience. So there are people who create rumors, who create wrong things, who create something this is what he said. Do you understand why he said this? This is what the meaning for it. Manipulators. And the other person was in a different track, and he completely jumps to a different track, which is heading them to a different path. The destination is completely changed. So this kind of people are there in between. So you need to understand how to bring entire mentees to the same track. Every single person wants to be in a different track in their own way. The mentor need to understand that emotional intelligence to bring them all together, and without anybody talking, by looking at that, he has to understand how to bring them to the track, how to understand they are in different tracks. And when it happens, any verbal connection, verbal conversation there, the mentor should be very, very easy to get them into the track, to understand where exactly the thing's going wrong. You understand, right? So this is very important. The mentor skill stack in 2026, behaviors and actual move outcomes, everything is been completely changing. Successful mentors have specific skills that bring out the best in participants and challenge them to learn new skills, completely new fresh skills, develop knowledge and improve communication. See, the modern mentors' core capabilities are very important to understand. Let us understand these core capabilities for the modern mentors I'm talking about. So first thing is these skills are very, very essential, and you have to know. Every single person as an entrepreneurial journey should know this. And in this 2026, for this era, it is very specially important to know. And that is listening and sense making. Yeah. Helping mentees to see the patterns and options instead of enforcing the solutions. Everybody, they enforce the solutions, right? They clear it off. They talk about it. They talk about all these learnings, what they come through from the modules. Everything they do. But when the listening is very active, that is very important. See, listening is an art. When someone is saying something or talking, so listening is an art, because most of the time your problems are sorted out when you are an active listener. And your mentees should understand that, and your mentors also should understand listening is very important. Listening comes first. For the problem solving skill, the root cause analysis, you let your department, you let your teammates to speak, and you listen. That is what even I do. In Six Sigma, when it is always said, if you want to solve the problem, ask 5 times why. And you simply sit, you look for the answers, you look for the, ask for the people to talk. Let them keep talking. And you keep listening, active listening. It's very important. When you do this, all your problems are sorted out. 50% of the problems are sorted out. Sometimes 90% of the solution is brought there. And that is how it is. But sense making, where is the sense making? That sense making skills are very important. You have to make the sense, when you've been speaking something or when you're listening to something, the sense making is very important. It has to sync. It has to sync that gap. So this mentees see the patterns, and you helping how to see these patterns for the mentees is important. There are a lot of different patterns. Not actively listening, you can see the person's body language and you can understand he's not listening. Sometimes, hey, are you listening or not? People, they say, right? You've been saying that Many times your teachers, your professors, hey, where are you? Are you listening? Are you with me? People, they ask. Why? Because you're sending some patterns. And we need to help the mentees to understand, to see these patterns and options. That is all very important, where listening and sense making should go together. And you teaching mentees and the mentors, having this capabilities, core capabilities is important. And questioning, overtelling, see, these all are core capabilities for the modern mentors. And we all, maybe mentor or mentors or mentees or whatever, knowing all this stuff is very important for this 2026. If you really want to be a transformational leader, and you need to have a leadership quality as a completely transformational leadership quality, then you need to listen to all these things. This is brainstorming sometime, when we start opening for everybody to talk. So when 2 people, 3 people, they talk, there'll be a lot of brainstorming happening, which will spark. It will spark in my mind, it will spark in your mind, everything comes. So to bring that kind of situation, we need to have these kind of sessions. So that is why questioning, overtelling comes place. The core capabilities. Offer guided discovery. Instead of war story dumping, you have to offer guided discovery. That is how the thing should go with the modern mentors. Instead of getting into war story dumping, don't do that. I need to put it something, I'll dump it. You want to put it something, you dump it. Dump everything. But that is all just dumping. But that is not helping anything. So questioning should be relevant for the topic what we're discussing. If that question what is going to bring something new, igniting people on the topic, then it is great. That is how things should go. Sometimes irrelevant questions is just making the person to talk and add his participation for the sake of participation. I am there, dear boss. No, that should not happen. So in the modern mentors, core capabilities is they always see into the questioning, not over talking or over telling. They only be into the guided discovery. What they have discovered with this moment. And sense making, what is happening right now with these talks. They are saying something and they said something. How I can correlate to both and get into some kind of discovery. All of a sudden ignited with something else, by talking to 2 people or 3 people, say something or ask some questions, and that is getting into the guided discovery. So this is what I'm talking about. Not like a war story dumping. You understand what I'm saying, right? Now, feedback fluency also is very important. Provide a structure for timely, specific, kind and actionable feedback. This is something very, very important, where we don't take action on spot. Sometimes when the timely manner, the timely manner, when the feedback is come, you need to think about why this is raised in his mind. This feedback, why did he think about it? As a mentor, we need to think about it, right? You appreciate everybody's feedback, it's great, but you need to think, how did this thought came into his mind? What made him to think like this? So this is actually making you to make your thinking process, the thought process, your intelligence to become more smart. And your visualization power will become very powerful. People been saying, how to make visualization. The person when he asks, or the person when he says something or gives a feedback, after all the conversation you made, after all the product demonstration you made, the person asks some unique question which nobody asked. Immediately you have to get into that visualization. That question should make you to get into the visualization, and that you go into the visualization when you are making sense making thought process. And for that, lot of things needs to be done. I have taken a session how to make visualization, how to be a very powerful visualization. So in that session, you'll understand how to make a visualization. But here it's very important when it comes to feedback fluency. So you have to provide the structure, timely, timely manner, to catch those feedback, which is very important. And you need to make sure to ask few questions to the person to get the answers, because the person who got these questions in his mind and giving the feedback, he will definitely have answers. When someone gives any feedback, don't immediately react. Maybe you're a feedback taker, you're open for 360 degree, for the feedback. That's good. I'm open for the feedback. Wonderful, great. But when the person giving a feedback, let that person speak more. So you will get to know the understanding of that person's viewpoint. The mentor, the modern mentor, will have these core capabilities, will always win. And I want you all to have these core capabilities. And that is why I've been saying all this stuff. Specific kind. It's very important. See, when someone is giving feedback, you should be very kind. If nobody is getting a feedback to you, then you have to understand you're looking like a dictator to everybody. Nobody is giving a feedback. Nobody is coming to tell you the feedback. I get lots of feedback. I'm good. I'm happy. So be kind. So if you're not getting feedback, then you have to understand for everything what you've been doing, for whatever you are, the moment when the feedback stops coming to you for all the actions what you put in, that means you have to understand you're standing in a place, in a position where everybody sees you like a king, like a dictator, getting scared. Don't get that kind of situation with your organization, with your departments, with your managers, with your mentees especially. Never do that. Sometimes have you seen your children's, or maybe some people's children's, they say go and ask this teacher. They'll never ask. I'll say no, I will not ask. You don't know this, you do not know answers for this, even I don't know. You ask your teacher. No, I will not ask my teacher. Why? And that is how the teacher is being projected there, with 2 thorns on the head and with the breathing speed. The kids will get scared. What if the teacher will start yelling at me? So this should not happen. That is what I'm telling you. Sometimes verbally you're not able to understand, non-verbally you're not able to understand how you've been projected to outside people. So be kind. When you be kind, only then the people will make attempt to come and ask you or tell you something. They might not say feedback, I want to give you feedback. They might not say that, but they will say something, ask you in something, in some other way. So you be kind for everything. Your actionable feedback is very important. So these are the core capabilities of a modern mentors. So when it comes to career development and the navigation help that leaders value, the organization with leaders who are highly effective are at people leadership are 2 to 3 times more likely to perform. Do you believe it or not? They perform highly at innovation. According to the research of many institutions, many researchers, however, only 34% of the human resource organizations survived, reported that they were highly effective at developing the people leaders. Mentorship provides a framework for supporting career navigation for leaders. The mentees learn how influence flows and decisions are made. Agree, right? They also create connections that support internal mobility, allowing them to move across functions without resetting credibility. Do you agree? Yeah. So psychosocial support without crossing lines. So this is something where we need to think about. We are in 2026 again, right? The future of mentorship programs, the future of mentorship completely should change. Now, what is Raghavendra talking about? Psychosocial support without crossing lines. Yeah. One of the primary benefits of structured mentorship is emotional support. a husband and wife need a emotional support to each other, right? In the same way, in a mentorship, also the emotional support and practical advice that furthers both professional and organizational goals. Unlike ad hoc social relationships at work, mentorship provides roadmap that blasters both belonging and progress. Do you agree? Mentorship can be particularly helpful in volatile markets, normalizing uncertainty and recalibration, while providing safety and ensuring alignment. To ensure effectiveness, mentoring program developers should clarify the role of mentors versus the roles of human resources, the employee assistant program, or managers. This has to be done. You don't know, when you say mentorship program, there are a lot of clashes between each other department, each other people. There are a lot of clashes. And these clashes, if you are not able to recognize it and you just run this, you're going to spoil the entire program, to spoil the organization. I've seen many I've seen where the people to do the mentorship program and they actually spoil the entire organization the way it's supposed to function. So please understand this. This is very important. That physio-social support without crossing lines. These all are very important. You need to understand the emotional support, valuing people's feelings, valuing their thought process, valuing their positions, valuing their capabilities. These all are very important. And your employee should not feel insulted by you giving them non-performing mentor or no knowledge at all, and that person is going to be a mentor for your best employee. One of the best employee has to be treated and respected, and you giving some person as a mentor, and he has to survive with him for the next 1 year or 6 months for this program. So please be careful while getting into this kind of mentorship program, leadership program. These all are very important. And in open business networking, we also have a leadership programs, right? When we are doing these leadership programs, we make sure where we get into the kind of reverse mentoring. And I bring that as a strategist. I know where the problems will come. So that's why I bring this reverse mentoring. I tell them sometimes you need to learn from everybody. Sometimes you have to learn from all the other people also. And nobody is mentee here. Everybody are into leadership program. Everybody. That's why OBN is called as OBN leaders. Every individual is a leader. Everybody has a capability. And now when we do a leadership program, everybody teaches to each other. And everybody is open to learn. And when everybody is open to learn, only then definitely will grow. Today you are open only. That's why you are sitting here. And I am sitting here. And that is why the open business networking clubhouse is still going on further. Why? Because we should not cut down. This is helping everybody, and let it help more. Let it help me more. Right? This is called physio-social support without crossing lines. Your borders. I have my limits. I have my boundaries, and nobody is touching that. So this thought process is very important. Let us treat and respect every individual. Right? So virtual mentoring as a new normal, if you see, 92% of the organization plan to increase their investment on AI. Over the next 3 years, it's rapidly gonna grow. All the big institutions, national wide, international wide, big institutions, I've been saying the same thing. And you can't be against to it. When a big institutions is saying this script in this stock market, in this script, I'm gonna invest all my 90% of the fund. Now all the the people, institution, big banks, like the mutual funds, everybody, the companies are concentrating on that script to invest. Will you invest in that or not? You'll definitely invest, right? That is how it is. When the world is going for one centered place, you go with special kind of mentorship, the future of mentorship. That is what the session is. When you go like a king, go like a special person. And that is why we are taking this session, to show the future of mentorship is completely evolving, it's completely changing, and that is why this session is. So this complete, all these institutions, the virtual monitoring, mentoring can help close skill gaps. So that is why, I've been talking about, within next 3 years, it's completely gonna increase a lot. All the organizations, 92% of the people, the completely organizations gonna change. The virtual mentoring can help close a lot of skill gaps by upskilling the workers, scaling up them on their schedules. That too on their schedules. Wow! You don't need to have a special days for that. No, on these working schedules. You have employees, 2 employees, 3 employees, 10 employees, 15 employees. Please work on this kind of methods. I'm telling you, this is gonna do wonders. They have to feel happy about it. Wow, today 1 hour I'm gonna have something special. We are gonna have a virtual meeting with different branches. All your employees from different branches, they're gonna join for that 1 hour session for the training, virtual monitoring or virtual mentoring, everything. This kind of activities is gonna make everybody to feel happy that I'm learning something today, and they will learn something. One branch is one branch is always performing, another 3 branches is not performing. Let those branches peak on the virtual meeting. I'm telling you, this is very easiest method to do without killing your scheduling time of your employees. This has to happen. This should happen. And that's why open business networking with a Zoom activity and all this stuff, where we have a lot of virtual meetings which has been conducted, and we have come up with a investors meet and lot of stuff, and we are getting the OBN leaders to come up for 20 minutes presentation slide to represent their business and all this stuff, so that it will start growing a relationship between everybody. That one person who comes and speak for 20 minutes, even in the clubhouse, that one person who comes and speak about 1 hour or 45 minutes or whatever, we all get to know the portfolio. We all get to know the capabilities. We all get to know where he stands. And you understand then, whether I can make a relationship with him. Why the one-on-ones are increasing too much? Only because you get to know their portfolio. We are making sure to make that person's portfolio to be known to everybody. Sometime in virtual meeting, I've been making people not to speak for 30 to 40 seconds when there is a very less people. I completely changed the method of the virtual meeting. And people felt, wow, super, wonderful, because you never spoke all these things. Now you spoke all these things because the time has been given, and now I'm getting to know more about you. I never thought about having a one-on-one with you, but now this time let us have a one-on-one. So this is taking further development. So this ignite on people's mind is very important. Virtual mentoring rituals that create trust very fast. Believe me or not. Respect for participants, that's very important. Their time, very precious. Respect for that. Respect for their energy. Respect for their contributions. And when you do respect for for all the participants' time, energy and contribution is a key to building trust. Do you agree? Yes or no? That is the key to building trust with everybody. When developing rituals, with all these people in this way, developing that virtual and hybrid mentor programs, being at the beginning, with the structure of each cohort's first meeting, set expectations. Confidentiality rules, very powerfully here. When you're doing that meeting cadence and the definition of success right up front, it's gonna show up. when you value all these things for your participants. And that is how the trust is going to take. No hesitation of for me to connect with you, or no hesitation for me to help getting your targeted audience to connect with you. It gives so much of boosting up their feelings that today I got to know Soumya Kallur and about her product, and it makes me give my references to you. That should come. And how it comes? You participating in all this stuff, participating in all the important aspects, and the right place and the right time, and start valuing the participants with the time what they given, the energy what they given, the contribution what they given. And now you see when you're listening to them, you see in the clubhouse nobody can see you whether you're listening or not, but you give your presence. I'm telling you, this makes wonders. It shows the value what you've been given, and the people will start trusting you. Next time when you come and speak, hey, you've been there on my session, you've been there, I can remember, you've been there regularly. In all the other people's, when they're taking session, it could be anything, any kind of topics, you've been there. I trust you, man, I love you, you are so great. This kind of trust building will happen within the person. Not only clubhouse, in all the activities I'm talking about. It could be virtual meetings, it could be the Zoom virtual meetings, or it could be activities what we conduct, the programs what we conducting. Right? So this virtual mentoring rituals creates a lot of trust. And are we taking the complete fruit? Are you eating the complete juice on that mango? That's important. Where are you standing in this 2026? The future of mentorship programs are completely changing. The future of mentoring, it's completely changed. It's especially important to be explicit, about these expectations when communicating in low context channels like chat, video, and many other documents what you be thinking for. You won't be able to count on body language or tone, the tone of voice, to give give the communication touch. Mentoring momentum over months, not weeks. I will tell you, the long-term mentorship programs require regular evaluations and touch points to remain effectiveness. Set micro goals and reviews to discuss what changed since the last interaction. Create clear actions for next steps to occur between the meetings. Refer back to the stated goals to keep the relationship on track and moving towards desired outcomes, to avoid drifting into the venting or a status updates. Please understand, this is how you need to change. Democratization and mentoring in this 2026, belonging by design. Mentorship is effective only when it's accessible and equitable. Without a careful planning, it's easy to design a program that for example pairs VIP mentors with mentees who already have a connections. Now when you're dealing in that cases, I'm telling you, you have to be very careful. I can't make a coffee connect meet where the VIPs comes with all the micro entrepreneurs. The micro entrepreneurs get scared, or they might feel not valued for being a part of this program because this is something too much for me. That feel comes. Now VIPs are being completely mistreated or misguided, where you brought them to the wrong place. This feeling should not come. Now when it is a investors meet, I need to make sure the investors are there, the angel investors, or maybe the people who are looking for the investment with the innovation, and those person have a quality of how to approaching skills. Now, without approaching skills, you get anybody that you want are investors. Then the investors are little completely downfall. They're completely they feel mistreated, misjudged, misvalued. So you need to be very careful, how you get these things done. See, even here also the mentorship programs are very important to understand how you gonna set up things. OBN is doing this, right? So I want people to come and communicate, come front and talk to our presidents, talk to me, how we can run this, how we can set up a team, the right people, right audience. Let all our OBN leaders be sitting there and listen, because that is gonna be learning. But nobody is gonna get an opportunity to speak. But yes, the person who is qualified, eligible, who passes the interview, they get the opportunity to talk. Why we all doing this? Because we value the mentors, we value the mentees, we value the people who are participating as investors, and we value the people who want an investment. People who come looking for investment and they're talking to the people who don't even have any kind of knowledge, and they are called investors. I don't believe, I don't trust. This field should not come. So this is how this design, this democratization design is very important. Designing mentoring to avoid gatekeeping opportunity. Self-matching can help democratize the access by allowing mentees to choose from a pool of approved mentors, or the mentees, or the nominate nominate their top choices. Give this privilege to all the mentees and the mentors and the organization. Hybrid matching uses the aspects of self-match and admin match, giving mentees more voice in the process while still maintaining the control of the mentorship program or leadership program. Consider the creating opportunities for sponsorship as well. It is very important, in which influential employees advocate directly on behalf of underrepresented talent. So cross culture and the cross generational mentoring programs also is very important. So beware of the tendency to make assumptions about participants. I'm telling you, it is very important. Don't look at the crowd of mentees or the mentors and don't get into the assumption mode, especially on all kind of participants, what based on characteristics like cultural background, generation, or age gap. You can't tell much about an employee's communication style, career goals, or risk tolerance based on this extrinsic factors. Instead of that, use tools like purpose assessments. That is very important to help tap into the intrinsic motivators. Reverse mentoring can help you on this. Reverse mentoring can be an inclusion engine, which is gonna do a major work for you, make all the things right. However, it's important to put appropriate guidelines in place to ensure that every meeting has a structure and purpose. Only then the success ratio is too high, right? Mentoring for well-being and resilience without a toxic positivity. Burnout signals like exhaustion and reduced responses, feedbacks are the red alert, for your mentorship program, your leadership program. These are the red alerts. One way to avoid getting there is to ensure that your system has structure, consistency, and clarity, especially about roles, priorities, and boundaries. If you're not set the boundaries, if you're not set the priorities, the roles properly aligned, things will not work out in your favor. Another way to prevent burnout is by providing time for reflection before and after mentoring meetings. This is wonderful. You have to go through this and see What are the reflections on this before and after mentoring meetings? You have to see that. And that reviews you need to get into. This enables the admins to track mindset shifts. Over time, you can make out everything, how the mind shift is shifting. I've been seeing that in a lot of OBN leaders, the mind shift is completely shifting. We've been talking all positivity, right? The toxicity is turning into positivity. The toxic behavior, the toxic way of thinking, they don't know they're toxic. They're so sad. I'm telling you, once the toxicity has been there, you're gonna change that. That is the way they've been born, or they might be cultured. But when it comes to leadership quality, and where you want to have that leadership quality in the entrepreneurial journey, you need to mentor in that way. But not saying you are very toxic, no. But you need to get that program in such a way, fine-tuned, which is gonna help them. Rematching things. So successful mentor programs is very important. Adopt the changing circumstances, which may mean tweaking, meeting schedules, reassessing goals, and rematching patterns, and thus patterns in some cases, some projects especially. Building a modern mentoring ecosystem. Operationalizing it, that is very important. Knowing how to design your mentorship program will mean the difference between the success and failure. There are lots of people, even sitting here, they have a lot of tremendous knowledge. Agree or not? Every single person has a equal, different kind of diamond. Every diamond is very precious. And people sitting here, everybody, they've gone through a different mode of experience. And we need to bow down. We need to respect that skills. The experience what they gone through, the experience what they got, you might not have. The experience what I've got, maybe one or two people might not have at all. So we need to value every single person. Building that modern mentoring ecosystem is very important. So program design choices that determine the outcomes, it's very important. The success of your program depends on the planning, especially specifically around some of the factors which I'm going to talk about now. First is goal clarity. See, there is only three, which is very important. One is goal clarity. What do you hope to achieve with mentoring? Question yourself. Please, be specific about metrics related of retention, mobility, leadership skills development, upskilling, and the culture outcomes. So when you think about all these specifications, I'm telling you, the goal clarity is going to be set very clear, which has been giving you 100% result. The next one is when it comes to segmenting programs. Which employees are you seeking to support or better utilize? Question yourself. I'm telling you, these questions are very important. Segmenting the programs. Which employees are you seeking? And you support or bettering utilize it, how to utilize them. Consider segments like early career, managers, high potentials, and technical tracks. These all things are very important. And then comes mentor supply strategy. Who will mentor? Question yourself. See, I'm telling you, don't get into a problem when you're doing something good, and don't do something wrongly. Do it rightly. That is why I'm telling you, question yourself, who will mentor? How will you reward them? And the mentees also, you have to reward them, right? So how will you do that? These all things you need to question yourself and then be planned, how to do this, how to take it further. And how will you protect participants' time? Everybody should be valued, when the mentorship program is done, the transformational change has to be done. The transformational leadership qualities has to be built. It has to be felt. It has to be shown. People should say, talk. If this is not coming, then you're not protecting your participants' time and you're spoiling it. So be careful, on mentors supply strategy is very essential here. Especially when you run thinking about mentorship programs, leadership programs, and all this stuff, you need to think about it. The future of mentorship is completely changing for this 2026, and this complete future of mentorship is for the true leaders only, the transformational leadership quality who has only for them. Training mentors like its leadership capability. Leadership requires many of the same skill as formal leadership, including the emotional intelligence. We have taken n number of now sessions on emotional intelligence. How many have we taken? Many sessions we have taken on emotional intelligence. Listening is very important. Emotional intelligence is very important. Cultural captaincies, it's very important. And the ability to give feedback, that is important. To ensure the mentor effectiveness, focus on developing these capabilities. These are the capabilities. I told you the capabilities is a very powerful word. If you have that capabilities, you are the true leader. You are the true mentor. And that is why I always say, capabilities is very important. That's a very powerful word. And these are the capabilities. What are capabilities? Emotional intelligence, listening, cultural competences, these all are and ability to give the feedback. These all are one of the capabilities. Communications and all this stuff, right? Through a structured onboarding process, if you want to take it, these capabilities are very important for everybody. Also be sure to give your mentors the tools they need. Sometimes that's why sponsors comes into the place. When you really need investments to be done, fund needs to be brought, everything has to be, the sponsors should get excited with the kind of project what you're going to, with the kind of mentors what you're going to bring and all this stuff, and what tools required. If it's very expensive, the organization should fulfill it, or organization to get the sponsors to win, right? That is how the things will work out. Even in the investors meet, we can talk about the sponsors. If you're looking for a sponsors, you can come with a presentation slide for 5 minutes, you can present, and you can win the sponsor if anybody wants to sponsor. There are people, OBN leaders, they want to become a sponsor because they want the brand activation, they want the brand awareness, they want the brand to be sounding big in the market because they've done all the things from decade. Now they want to do the branding. So you can pitch in, you can definitely use all these things. So this is what the leadership capabilities, where we have to bring in front. So these tools, when it's been given, what has been required, for example, by providing playbooks, templates, or agendas, or tools, AI tools, subscriptions, and all this stuff, which is very important for them to have a conversation guidance to build into each meeting, right? Measurable, measurement leaders can trust. Only when it has been gone in that way, you can't manage it if you can't measure it, right? Agree with me? Provide metrics that make sense. See, I am a person when you talk and say the performance, I don't believe you. You show me the metrics, you show me the dashboard, you show me the graphs, you show me the statistics, fundamentals. Then I believe, because that is how the leader should see. Someone saying the performance is going high, wow, so it says that this, show me in the board, boss, show me in the display, show me the graphs, let me compare with the historical data and see what is done. Don't talk, show me in the graphs. That is important. Send me the email, let me go through the dashboard, let me see the pivots. So measurement leaders can trust. You understand where the trust will come? Talking doesn't make you to feel trusted. When you show the measurement leaders with the metrics, that measurement is very important. So it includes that trust to get, that providing the metrics, the trust to get, to measure it. There are few things which is very important, and that is leading indicators. I will tell you, meeting cadence, goal progress, network expansions, showing it in the graph. Where were we last year? Where are we this year? What was the last quarter and what is the present quarter? What we are expecting for the next quarter with this kind of progress. So these things you need to bring. That is leading indicators, where you show the indicators, what happened and how it happened, and your action plans and related graphs. This will show you what are the indicators. Leading indicators are very important. Now, lagging indicators: employee retention, promotions, mobility, performance, engagement. You will see what is lagging indicators. Sometimes you see downfall on people quitting the job, and your HR is completely failed to retain these people. When the percentage of retention is too bad, attrition is too bad, more than 5%, 10%, my goodness, what's happening? You're losing all the resourceful people. Why is this happening? So these lagging indicators are very important. You need to get this on your dashboard. This is a measurement leaders. These are the people who are true leaders, and this is required. And qualities checks, which is very important. Real-time meeting, helpfulness, scores. It helps you to get the surveys that track mentoring relationship, the mentoring relationships health and matching fit. So this quality check is important. If your managers are selected some mentors and the mentees, so see whether this is matching. This quality check of mentor on the the relationship program, or the team building activity, or whatever they're doing, leadership programs or mentorship program, whatever they be doing. So what needs to be met? The end goal should be finalized before it kickstart. Once you make the end goal, what is the purpose? What is your goal to be met? For that, is it everything required to meet this goal? Are we having the mentees which we required from the department, what we need, and the mentors what we need? So this quality checks is very important, and you have to do the real time meeting with them, to understand what's happening, where it's going. Red flags and failure modes, which is again what breaks the mentoring in this 2026. 98% of Fortune 500 companies have mentoring programs, leadership programs, but only 37% of the employees say that they benefit from them. So why the disconnect? So everybody should align to that. And if there is a failure mode, get into POLs, proof of learning. Now when you do the proof of learning, when everybody are doing good and a lot of people are performing with this mentorship program, leadership skill have been developed, a lot of changes has been seen into place, performance is increasing, everything. Now POL for the bottom quarter line, people who are not performing, who are always into failure, give them a POL, and you will get to know is it a will issue or a skill issue. If it's a will issue, get them into the leadership program once again, let them go through it. You're giving a chance, you're giving an opportunity. If it's a skill issue, you can give them a training. If it's a will issue, you can keep them on a table and talk to them. And you need to understand how to fire them, how to have a hot conversation. These all are management skills. The most common ways to mentoring program quietly fail, and that is common. Research has shown several common issues lead to the mentorship program failure. That includes something communication issues. Lot of communication issues, communication gaps. That is one of the major things. The mentor is saying something, the mentee is understanding completely different. The manager is saying something, the organizers understand something different. The communication issues, you have to fix this, you have to make an effective communication. Bad mentor-mentees matching. My goodness, this is a killing, this is an assassination. You are letting everybody to kill by themselves. Have you seen, like, anybody killing by themselves? And that is how the things goes on. Like, one king comes and, like, they make a strategy of that empire to fight with each other, and they become weak, and then this person goes for the completely to take over the empire, right? So this is what is going to happen. Bad mentor and mentees matching it, which is going to kill the organization completely. You are conducting something to improvise, but you are actually demolishing yourself, like, your complete empire, your complete organization, by having the bad match. So this is again, like, when you see participant disagreement, have you ever seen, like, people participant disagreement? You might have experienced this many times. People calling for some programs, they say, nah, that is not my cup of tea. You call them for the clubhouse for this meeting. Hey, no, I don't want to come. What is the topic? What? The future of mentorship for the true leaders? What are you thinking? Go. This is not my cup of tea. See, people, they talk. See, this is the common ways of mentoring programs fail. And you have to understand where you talk, what to talk, how you talk, when you talk. When they are in pain of suffering, of getting failures back to back, talk to them. They need it. The person who needs water, give him a water, he will drink. Right? So the person who's completely, like, have everything, very happy, nothing, but he has a lot of problems, but it's not affecting still. But you identify all these problems, what he's going through, and you can tell him, like, next 2 years you're going to suffer because this is what you've been doing. He doesn't take it anything because he's very happy as of now. So calling that person for that, like, he will not treat it. He will not give any importance. Many of these issues stem, like, it's going to stem from, like, lack of planning or misunderstanding of the mentorship program, mentorship relationship. For example, a common problem in an AI era is over-indexing in matching the algorithms without human context. Effective matching requires both the right tools and the right inputs and the right use of the organization, which is not fulfilling your organization, and you're keeping and you're taking the subscription and paying and asking them to do, you don't get any good results. Further, trying to ensure the support for diversity of perspective, like, and thought process to encourage advice and expands the options, ethics, boundaries, and power dynamics as part of, like, mentor trainings and advice about confidentiality, pitfalls. Trust is important, and mentees should be able to count on most discussions remaining between them and their mentor. However, like, mentors should never promise absolute confidentiality, especially, like, around illegal activities, like, which is not good. Ideally, like, mentoring relationship would occur outside the normal reporting structure to keep the boundaries and the role clear. That is very important. Otherwise, you risk the appearance of favoritism and conflicts of interest. This is how it's going to end up. Ending well and scaling healthy is very important. Do you agree or not? A successful program is evaluated by its results. At the end of the program, participants should be able to identify lessons learned. Further, like, program administrators should determine next steps. What next, right? Including the next cohort, like, of potential mentors in this program, like, is continuing. Are any mentees out in the position to graduate to mentor? You have to question yourself on these things, right? Even the best planned program can have mismatches in terms of participants. recalibrate, identify signs of poor mentor and mentee match, like avoidance, lack of feedback, and low commitment. Then rematch as needed. Finally, plan for scaling as participation grows without diluting your results. Strategic use of technology can help you build on successes, learn from failures, and expand your impact. Conclusion of this complete next step, the future proof of definition of mentor, and this is how it is. Forward looking companies are using leadership program to accelerate talent development, build leadership, build leadership pipeline, yeah, and evolve rapidly alongside a changing business environment. And this is all it is, which is very important. Executive action steps is very, very important, and this has to be the next 90 days. The first 90 days are key to success of your program. I'm telling you. In this time, plan to define outcomes. What does success look like? Question yourself. Look at the end goal, man. I'm telling you, you plan your end goal. Visualize how should your end goal look like. That is your expectation, right? You have to plan that. In these first 90 days are the key to success, complete program. So for this, you need to plan your defined outcomes. How does success look like for this program, for this project, for this entire functions? Pilot the right model mix, options include 1:1, 1:many, and many:many, and can vary, it can vary in terms of length of the program and the way in which programs flows. It's a traditional 1:1 career mentoring, micro mentoring or flash mentoring, whatever I've been saying, the peer mentoring, reverse mentoring, group mentoring, and mentoring the circles, these all are very important. See how many mentoring things I've been talking about, right? Build measurement plus learning loops, and continuous improvement and the forward vision is very important. Mentoring is part of the leadership infrastructure at high performing companies, not just a perk. Artificial intelligence provides insight and accelerate the programs, but remains a tool that augments, accelerates the connection and development, rather than as a replacement of a human mentors. Responsible use requires guidance, transparency, and the choice. Further, mentees have more than one mentor connect concretely sticking to over time. Once your program is up and running, you will see the compounding impact of the skills, mobility, belonging, and the performance. That's it. And this is the mentor definition of 2026 and the future of mentorship for true leaders.